Let's do some shading and applying materials right now. And first I want you to switch to the look dev mode, and it's located right here, or just press Z and go to look dev. And this is too bright and the scene will be a little bit darker, so I want you to expand this little arrow here. And as I talked before, there are some HDRI previews available, and if you click this one, I think the shadows are better visible and will be able better identify the objects we need to apply materials to. So let's switch to that, and yeah, we can right away start adding some materials. And again, as I talked about the episodes before, we'll restrict our palette as much as we can. So basically we will create new materials only when totally necessary, and reuse the other materials as much as we can. So yeah, let's just click the platforms object here and let's create our first material. Click new and let's name that concrete. And we can give it some a little bit darker gray color, but not too much. Something like this to differentiate it. And right now we'll create some metal materials for the equipment underneath the platforms. So just select the first tank and add a new material. Let's call this metal. And let's bring up the metallic property all the way up. And this is about the PBR shading workflow, which is called physically based rendering, where you have a metallic and roughness on the material, and basically with these two parameters you can clearly define how the object should be shaded. So, and with metallic, basically if the object is metallic or isn't. Most of the times there's nothing in between, so no reason to play around with this. You just make something metallic or don't. So yeah, let's make this metallic and leave the color like that. And we can now select these cylinders here and apply the same metal material, but now I want you to copy that, and you know this process from before. So just duplicate the material. We can leave the name like it is and just make it a little bit darker. So we'll have 2 shades of metallic material here, and later we will create a third. Okay, and we can do that right now. So let's select some wireframe here and apply this metal 001 material. And again, you can duplicate this and make it darker, like really darker. So it's basically almost black, and this one we can make a little bit darker too. Okay, I like this so far, and we can now, and as you can see, since these were link duplicates, we have applied the materials to every tank and every cylinder, and we can now apply to the rest of the wireframes. So let's give this dark metal material, or rather I want this to have the lighter shaded material, and let's give the same material to these 2 poles, and this one will be darkest. So let's give this the darkest material. Now select the power source and let's give it the darkest metal material. And right now we can create a new material slot here. So let's click on the plus here, create new, and let's name it neon. And right here where it says principled BSDF, I want to change it to emission. And let's go into the edit mode here, face select this loop right here, which is inset, and click assign. Now give it a strength of 20, and I want to have it blue color, and I will give you hex, but something like this. So yeah, let's switch to the hex, and we can go 00 BBFF. So 00 BBFF. Okay. and that'll be our first neon material that we'll reuse throughout the scene, and I want to assign it to the inside face as well. So let's click neon, select the face inside and click assign. Now let's go out of the edit mode, select the propeller and give it metal 1. Now let's select these pipes, create a new material, let's call this chrome, and basically it will be just full metallic material with 0 roughness. So that's the chrome material, and let's give this pipe metal 1. Now let's add the concrete material to some more objects. So let's select the pillars, let's add a concrete material, the roof here as well, the second roof, basically this building up here, okay, and the sign. So all of these will have a concrete material applied. And now I want you to select the building and let's create a new material, let's call this wall. I want this rounded building to be of a white material, so let's leave it like this. I just want it to have a principled shader. Now select the rails and give it the darkest metal material, same with the stairs and the rails here as well. Now we can select the tires, there will be a new material needed, let's call it the rubber, and it will be basically very dark, almost black material with roughness of 0.4, so it's a little bit smoother and has more reflections. And we can assign metal material to the barrels. Now I want to create a second neon material, so let's just select these stripes on this roof, click new, and let's call this neon as well. The number will be assigned automatically, and just switch this to the emission shader, and again I want it to have emission 20, and we just need to give it an orange color, so something like this. But if you want a hex code, you can enter FF5B00, so FF5B00, enter. Yeah, and I almost matched it perfectly. So that's our second neon material, and right now we'll apply it throughout the scene. So we'll apply it to these little arrows, this frame on the arrow, and other stripes throughout the scene. So here as well. Here. Yeah, maybe we'll see some other places in the end. So let's move on with more materials. And right now I want to give the neon material to the text as well. So let's select cloud, give it a yellow neon material, 66 will be blue, bar will be yellow, and of course you can go whatever you want. If you want it pink, make it pink, but I would recommend to follow this because the color scheme is thought through, and maybe it's a better idea to first try the course content as is, and then maybe save a new file and try to modify the lights and the colors and make something yours out of it. So yeah, whatever you want. Now let's assign the metal material here, the middle one, 001, and tap into the edit mode, select the frame right here, let's add a new material slot and select the yellow neon from the list, click assign, and we can give a dark metal material here. Now there's one more text here, let's give it the blue, and here will be yellow. Now I want this roof to be blue, and we'll need to create a new material for that. So let's call this metal blue, and we want this full metallic, and yeah, just change the color to some blue, and again I can give you an hex, so let's switch to that and enter 3A4574. Okay, and let's assign it here as well. Now select windows, and they will need new material as well because they're some kind of wooden or something like that. So let's create a wood material, and this will be basically just some darker brown color or something like this. Nothing too fancy. And we can assign the same material here. So let's assign wood. And right now I want to apply materials to this cloth, but we'll need to modify this. So go into the edit mode and make some cuts, because I want to paint stripes there very quickly. So let's make cuts. First of all, assign a new material. Let's call it white. And give it a roughness of 0.3. I want it to be a little bit more shiny. And let's create a new material slot. Create a new material. Let's call it red. And just give it some really red color here. And now I want you to modify the roughness as well to 0.03. So 0.3 to roughness. Now go to the face select, and with Alt and Shift just select these loops and click assign. Okay, that'll be it. Now there's one more wooden object, and that's this pole. So, and as you can see, there are some material slots here. That's because when I prepared these objects for import, I removed the materials, but I left the material slots there. So just delete them and assign the wood material here, and I want to assign wood material to the door as well. So let's select these faces, Ctrl+ to expand the selection, new material slot, select wood, click assign. Okay, and right now I want some light to be emitted from the window, so there will be one more new material here. But first let me just select this, Ctrl+ to expand the selection, assign the wood material and create a new slot, and Ctrl- to come back to the face, or just simply click the face and assign a new material. Let's call it window light, and there'll be emission shader, of course. So let's switch this to emission, and let's give it the color hex of 55FFF5. So it'll be that nice blue cyan color and emission of only 10. Let's click assign. Okay, right now we can move down, select these windows here, and we can assign a manual material to all of those, and maybe this handle as well. And just go into the edit mode here, select these loops, create a new material slot and assign that window light material like this. Okay, and maybe we forgot to assign material to the curb here, so let's assign the wall material there as well, just like the rest of the building. We can assign a concrete material to this platform as well, so let's assign concrete, but I need to create a new material slot. Go into the edit mode, select this loop around and choose blue neon from the list and click assign. It will add a little nice detail. Yeah, and as you can see, it's nothing too much difficult here. We're just creating a new materials. As I've talked about before, we need to keep that restrictive palette, and we are creating the new materials only when we need them and assigning existing materials wherever we can. So let's move on to some more objects. Let's select the trash can here. We can zoom in with the period key, and let's remove the excess material slots and give it metal material, maybe the lighter one. Okay, and I want these to be cardboard. So basically let's just go into the edit mode, deselect all, and press L over the paper here, because I want this to be white, as this is a paper there. So let's select white, click assign. As you can see, only the corner is visible, so maybe this is too deep. So let's just press G and Z to move this up a little bit. And right now go back to the edit mode and select box with L and the other box with L as well. Create a new slot, new material, or rather we can select a wood material from the list, click assign and create a duplicate, rename the cardboard and make it a little bit lighter. Okay, I really like this, and as you can see here it changed as well since it's link duplicate. Now let's shade the traffic light so we can focus on that. Let's remove the slots, and here there will be some more materials because I want to shade these 3 lights. So first of all, let me add the darkest metal material. The second thing will be adding some light here. So if you zoom in and select this face, press Ctrl plus and plus again, create a new slot and a new material. Let's call this lamp. Switch to emission, and we'll create a new material for this because we want it to be really stronger. So let's give it an emission of 50, and let's change the color to something really subtle yellowish. Let's assign. Okay, I like that. And right now let's focus on the traffic lights here. So yeah, it'll be red on the top, yellow in the middle and green at the bottom, and I want the red to be shining. So let's deselect all, select the first one, and let's add a new material. Let's call this traffic green, and I want this to be, of course, green. I want a 0 roughness there. Let me click assign so we can see that. 0 roughness, and I want the transmission to be really strong here, like 0.9. It'll basically make it a glass material. If you would really like to have this material transmissive, you would need to edit some settings in the Eevee, and I will show you later how to set up Eevee. But if you scroll down in the material, there are settings here, and you can enable screen space refraction right here. You won't see it doing anything, and there's refraction depth. Right now it's 0 meters, but you can edit this, and basically it determines how deep the material will simulate the rays going into the object. And since this is something like 0.1, 0.2, you can enter 0.2 meters and leave it like this. And later when we'll dealing with the Eevee settings, and we'll make use of this. So we can move on and deselect all, select the middle one, and we can duplicate the traffic green. So make a new slot, select the green, duplicate it here, rename to traffic orange, assign, and just change the color. Okay, and the last thing, we want to select this one, add a new material. Let's call this traffic red, and I didn't duplicate it because right here we need an emission shader, and let's ramp this up a little bit. So let's give it a 250 and red color. Okay, let's click assign. Okay, let's save the scene so we don't lose anything, and let's move on to the next object. Now we forgot the island a little bit, so let's give it a new material, and let's call this ground. And I like this wooden shade of brown, so yeah, let me go back and let's add a wood material. Right now we can duplicate this, call this ground, and make it much more darker, like this. And we can go into edit mode, select the top face, create a new slot, and assign the concrete material there. Click assign, and it's done. Now this one here will be concrete as well. But if you go to the edit mode, switch to wireframe, let's select these. Let's switch to face select these faces, and create a new slot and assign our dark metal material. Click assign. Okay. Go back to the look depth, and now we can just select this top face, expand the selection with Ctrl+, and create a new slot, new material, switch to emission. Let's call this warning light. Let's set the emission to 50 and the color hex to BB4600. Okay, and let's click assign. I really like that, and I now just realized we forgot to make this light here as well, but no worries, just select this, tab in, and expand this selection even further, so up until here. Let's press Shift D to duplicate, P to separate. Right now we can tab out, select the new object, set origin to the center of mass, and let's click the pole here, edit, click the control point right here, press Shift S and cursor to select it. Right now just click the warning light, the new one, Shift S, selection to cursor, and the one thing left is to press R, Y and rotate 90 degrees. Done. And you can see there's really easy way how to navigate your scene with the use of snapping and duplicating new objects. These things could take a lot of time if you would do that from scratch, but you can always help yourself like this and make it really quick. Now we can select this arrow and give it a rubber material. Okay, now let's give the same material to the cables. Just select it and choose a rubber material. Now we'll apply some shading to the pumps here, so let's press period key, zoom in, and let's assign a red material that we already created. Click the counters, assign the metal material. This object here will be blue metal, and we can make this red as well. Now go into the edit mode, and the star is already selected, so we can as well as apply a material, select metal blue, assign, deselect, select this loop around here, and add a new slot, and let's assign a metal material. Okay, that's for the pumps. Okay, we can now move to the vending machine, so just zoom out, click the vending machine, and you can use the period key. And right now we can remove the slots here. Sorry. We can assign the red material here and create a new slot. Select these faces right here and assign blue neon material. Let's click assign, and you can always select this button by pressing L, but be careful about the background there, and assign neon there as well. So it will get that nice little detail, and maybe you can go and select this face in the back and these two. Press Ctrl+ to expand the selection, create a new material slot and add a rubber material. And mind, I'm using a rubber material for plastic purposes as well, because basically it has that roughness and the color value I need. So yeah, that's for the vending machine. And let me check what we forgot. Yeah, we need to set these panels to concrete, and we forgot one neon color here, so let's edit, select this loop around, create a new material slot and select a yellow neon material and click assign. Okay, and that's for the scene. Now let's move to the car, and right away I can see I forgot to add something because I wanted to kit bash some machinery under the car as well, and it's very easy to do. Just click the tank here, go to the top view, switch to the wireframe, and right now we can just Alt-D to duplicate this, move it here, and let's press Alt-P to unparent that from the platform here. So clear and keep transformation. Right now we can look from the side, push this up a little bit and maybe make it a little bit smaller. Let me check in the perspective. Yeah, I think this will be okay. And additionally I want to use this cylinder right here the same way, so Alt-D to duplicate, Alt-P to clear parent. Let's just rotate this on the Z 90 degrees and move it under the car and move it up. Let's scale this and fix the size. And here again you can see the power of the kit bashing, where you have some components, and let me duplicate this with Alt-D and move this up a little bit here, where you have some components and you can easily use them to create some advanced looking machinery on the places that won't be looked at twice, basically. So that's it for some kit bashing under the car, and let me just select these three and the car body and press Ctrl P to make a parent. Let's go back to the look dev mode. Don't forget to save your scene. And right now we can just add some materials here. So select red material for the car, and right here we can select the windows, create a new material slot, new material, window, give it a black color and bring the roughness all the way down. Let's click assign, and right now we can add some chrome material to the door handles, some chrome material to the bumpers, and here as well. Let's give the engines a metal material. Okay, and now it's only headlights and taillights, and there'll be a new material needed for that. So let's just select this and select this face, expand with Ctrl+, new material slot, give it a chrome, click assign and select the face again, expand, new material, let's call it headlights. Right now I want to switch this to emission with the power of 100, and I can give you a hex for the yellowish color I use. It's FFE0 A8, like this, and let's click assign. We can rotate to the back, select the headlight faces, press Ctrl+, new material slot, new material, let's call this tail lights, and again switch to the emission. Here just apply strength of 50 and dark red color, so you can put in the hex I'll give you. It's BB0E00. Let's press enter and click assign. So that's for the car, and now we just need to finish engines a little bit. So click on them and go to the local view by pressing slash key. And now we can edit this one. Click the face right here, new material slot, and select neon from the list. And right now we can duplicate this and call this neon engine. Give it a power of 250. Oh, that's too much, maybe only 100. And click assign. And then just select the loop here, this one here, by holding Alt and Shift, and maybe some other place you can see fit. And you can assign a new material slot and give it that standard neon material to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so that's the engines for you, and I think we didn't miss anything, and every object is properly shaded right now. Every object has material, so we can move on to some render settings and finally rendering the image. And you really deserve some results right now. Thank you for staying so long here, because this scene was really complex and it took a lot of time to go through all that modeling. So good job on this, and let's move on to the final stage.